Happy Wednesday evening, everyone. How are you doing? I see the chat is popping already. Look at y'all. Already popping. Like full into it. We haven't even started the show. Do me a favor, hit the like button if you have not already. If you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit that subscribe button and the bell, and you will get notifications whenever we go live. Also, when it comes to podcasts, Apple folks, hit up the Apple Podcast, save us there, download us there. And for you non-Apple folks like me, Spreaker.com. We have a relationship with them as well. Very, very good. Those are the two preferred podcasts as far as, getting our stuff when you're not on YouTube. So we recommend that. Also, we got a massive O-line portal commitment, a late commitment. Remember, even though the portal's closed for guys to enter, it's still open for business as long as they were in before the deadline. We're going to talk about that. And then also, remember, when you send those wonderful super chats you guys always send, helps to go towards the pay it forward, which is our military and our first responders. We're going to look out for them because they always look out for us. Nevada Buck, what's up, brother? How you feeling?
Feeling good. You wake up and you know that Ohio State's still working the portal, still doing stuff, but then you see them actually land a kid out of the portal, offensive tackle. And my immediate thought was, is this just a filler, or is just what is this? It's a kid from Springfield, Ohio, so obviously a kid coming home, but they actually think he can play, and they're paying him like they think he can pay. So I'm excited about it. Vasean Washington, big offensive tackle out of Dartmouth, coming to Ohio State, looking to be a person they think that can provide some depth for them, a competitor at the left tackle spot. And I think it's a great addition in a year where you're going to need as much depth as possible. You're going to need as much competition as possible. You've got a challenging schedule, and you've got a team that's built for the national title. So I'm super excited about it. And yeah, a kid that kind of came a little bit out of nowhere, but sometimes those are the hidden gems, and this certainly could be one of those guys.
Yep. 6'5", 290. He has a lot of experience at offensive guard and tackle. He's only allowed one sack in 700 career snaps. And so we know Dartmouth is not Alabama. Dartmouth is not, Ohio State. But again, some of these kids are gems at these lesser schools. Obviously, Ohio State has done their homework. They think he has some upside to come in here and do some things, compete, at the very least, be solid depth at the O-line, at a position where he can move around and has experience at both guard and tackle. That matters, especially when injuries come about and things like that. And again, he's from Springfield, Ohio. Give me all the Ohio linemen. Give them to me. 3-star, I don't care. I want them. So, yeah, definitely happy to have this kid and to bring in a guy. Now, listen, for the folks who were expecting us to bring in 9 offensive linemen, that was never happening. But they were going to try to bring some quality prospects in depth at the very minimum from the portal. And this is one of those guys. So, yeah, Nevada, I'm going to throw his film on a little bit too. But, yeah, definitely happy about this because we know, me and you, Nevada, give us offensive linemen from Ohio, please. It's honestly, I almost would take a 3-star Ohio guy, a tough, gritty, who I know is a tough guy from Ohio, than a 4-star kid from Arizona or something. I don't know, man. That's just how I feel about it.
Well, yeah, and look, you never know what you're going to get out of when you get Ivy League kids. I mean, it's not like the Ivy League's never produced football players. I mean, Harvard's produced Matt Burke and Kyle Jusick and Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Dartmouth. I mean, Dartmouth, the great linebacker from the Bengals, Reggie Williams was a Dartmouth player, Nick Lowry, Jay Fielder. So like it's not like you can't find players out of there. There's they're few and far between. But Ohio State feels like they got one of them, and I agree with you. I love the Ohio linemen. I think those guys were built differently. Our lines in '02 and 14 were built almost exclusively from Ohio offensive linemen. And this is a guy, he's an easy mover, big kid, experienced kid. And no, hasn't been playing at the highest level of football. But, sometimes, I mean, how many times do you watch Monday Night Football and you see these guys are like Northwest Oklahoma State,
Yep.
Illinois I mean, it's just like over and over and over again. You see that. So not everybody has to come from Georgia. Not everybody has to come from Alabama. Not everybody has to come from Ohio State. And I think this is one of those guys that Ohio State maybe feels like they found one. So I'm really going to be interested to see how he does. Can he help us out? This is a guy that they're bringing in late. This isn't a development project because he's got 1 year to play. But I think he's a guy that's going to be helping us in 2026, and I'm excited. I'm excited about everybody. But this is certainly an intriguing prospect, and the way they're paying him and the way that they went after him, Ohio State feels like they really found one here. So I'm certainly excited about it.
Yeah, definitely. And I wanted to bring something up because
I think you're on mute
people.
there, B Moses.
Oh, am I on mute? Can you hear me? Because I'm not showing I'm on mute. Can you hear me? Okay. I think Nevada's system is acting up because I am not on mute. But anyway, as we wait for him to get back, and here he is. All right, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. That sound thing is one of the great mysteries of StreamYard.com. But yeah, I can hear you now.
Gotcha. No, I was saying, for the people who are saying, "Hey," I've seen a few people say, "Well, Ethan was a bust." So it's like how the recency bias, positive or negative, people are already dismissing this kid because he's from a small school, and Ethan was from a smaller school, and he was a bust. But again, just like the track record for the NFL coaches, the other day when we said, when you make judgments, make sure you do the overall track record. Well, Ohio State's overall track record in the portal is way better than not good. Our overall portal track record is pretty darn good, even with linemen. I can only so far, Nevada, correct me if I'm wrong, there's only been two linemen that have been bust. Ethan and Victor Cutler. All the other ones, obviously Josh Simmons, Philip Daniels is not a bust. The kid we got from Rutgers, who I think he still plays for the Lions, Josh, I forget his last name. We've had more hits, and not just O line, but in general. So don't get caught up in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we hit more than we don't hit, Nevada.
Well, yeah, and I mean, look, you're always going to have misses, man. The only people that don't miss are the people that don't swing. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
for Ohio State, as you said, their hit rate's a heck of a lot better. They've got way more information than we do. They've got their very livelihoods depending on this, and they're putting up real money to get these kids in. So, they think he can play. And it's for me, it's always interesting to find those kids. If you're saying who's the kid that fits the profile, it'd be, I'd say, a kid from a smaller school certainly qualifies. A kid that's got some sort of Ohio connection, this certainly qualifies. And a kid that can play tackle, play inside, versatile kid that can play a number of different positions, veteran guy. That's what I'm looking for to help us in 2026, because this isn't about filling the needs for 2027 or 2028 or building depth and beyond. This is about anymore. It's all about what can help you next year. What can help you next year to win? And if this guy gives us a 1% better chance, if he helps us even a little bit providing depth, or if he's a starter or whatever it is, hey, I'm excited about it. And, for Ohio State, if you're betting against Ohio State in these situations, you're certainly taking the wrong side of that, because, as you pointed out, we've had way, way more hits than we have had misses. And I don't have any doubt that this guy's going to be a good player for us here.
Yep, definitely. And just a reminder, we did this the other day. I basically read off the list of the O linemen we got coming back. Austin Saravell, senior. Ian Moore, junior. Carter Lowe, the former five-star from the Toledo area, sophomore. Luke Montgomery, senior. Jake Cook from Westerville North, who the coaches raved about last year, sophomore. Carson Hensman, who I thought was gone, but apparently he's a redshirt senior. He'll be back another year. Gabe Van Sickle, junior. Josh Padilla, senior. Philip Daniels, senior. Sam Greer, freshman, and then there's more freshmen. So we've got a ton of experience coming back, y'all. And so adding this guy to the pot, we didn't need to go out and just completely revamp the offensive line. They need to continue to progress and get better. And, some of these guys have won national titles in the trenches. And so, I just kind of want to keep reminding people of that, Nevada, that yes, the last two games were not great. We gave up 10 sacks, But I wanted to bring something up while I'm thinking about it, Nevada. Guess who the top two teams, everybody out there, guess who the top two teams in college football were in 2025 season with sacks? Nevada, you have any guesses?
I'd say Miami, Indiana.
Bingo. Ding, 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 ding. So, yes, two things can be true, folks. One, Ohio State needs to continue to be better and make sure that they're able to provide their quarterback time to operate and throw and whatever. Well, I would say three things. That's one. Two, we could do a better job schematically, snap count, all the other stuff to help that situation out. But then three, the other thing is maybe Miami and Indiana were just really good. Like Gabe Van Sickle, let's go back real quick, Nevada. We played really good against Michigan, against the team up north. Tegra actually had a really good game against the team up north. He's been an inconsistent soul his entire career here, but he was good that game, but he got injured. And he took that injury into Indiana, and it probably made him play poorly like he did, along with his inconsistency. Gabe Van Sickle came in the second half and played well. We had film people breaking down his performance, saying it was awesome. We had high hopes going into the Miami game. In his bow prep, hey, he's getting all the reps, and he just could not hold up to Bain and Messidor, two monsters. Ruben Bain is going first round. Messidor might go first round too. And so we went up against a really good defense and a really good NFL defensive line, and with a right guard position with a guy making his first start. So we played some really good teams. Indiana, really good defensive line. They gave up 3 sacks to Miami as well, and they struggled. They gave up a lot of pressures. So I'm saying that to say I'm trying to bring y'all some perspective and balance. I was frustrated with the O-line performance, but I'm also kind of, I'm bringing myself around. Like, hey, like we got to consider all these factors. You got these guys coming back, Bowen in his second year. You add this kid, we're going to be fine on the O-line. I really believe that. O-lines get better. They continue to gel. You got a whole off season. Like, just be encouraged, y'all. Nevada?
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is one of the great mysteries to me because I'm looking at the offensive line like an absolute team strength. I mean, I can't remember a time. Just go through the number of starts that we have returning on the offensive line. I mean, it's crazy how much
Yeah.
veteran leadership we have, how many big games these guys have been in. And I've seen bad offensive line play. I've seen our teams get, dominated. I saw a game, the '06 national championship game when we had like what 81 yards total offense or something like that against Florida. And so, I mean, that's getting your booty kicked. I mean, yeah, we gave
Yeah.
up sacks against Indiana and against Miami, but we moved the ball. And we moved the ball. We weren't like, completely neutered on offense. We didn't
Right.
take advantage of our opportunities. We shot ourselves in the foot sometime, but we had a chance to win both games. Should have won both games, in my opinion, against teams that were playing for the national championship. So the idea that we're far off, and that was with an offensive coordinating scheme without an adult in the room, with Ryan Day stepping in to handle things. Now we've got Arthur Smith. We've got an entire offseason to get better. I mean, I'm excited about the offensive line. I honestly do not understand the angst about the offensive line. I sincerely do not, because it's a lot of the same guys that we won the national championship with 2 years ago that are only 2 years older, more experienced, bigger, stronger, faster. I absolutely do not believe the offensive line is going to be anything but a team strength. It's something that we're going to rely upon, lean into next year. And then in 2027, we're going to be singing the blues about what are we going to do without losing all these great offensive linemen, all these multiple All-Americans and Remington Award winners and things like that. That's going to be our biggest discussion. But I'm telling you, I'm going all in on the offensive line right now. I don't get the hand wringing about it. And if you go back and watch the games, like I have done, um, you know, we didn't play that badly on the offensive line. Our scheme did not do us there. Our offensive linemen are not responsible for the snap count. If all we had done was vary the snap count and not go on touch every single time, which I don't understand because it's not like the Cotton Bowl was a home game for Miami. You know what I'm saying? Like, the
Yep.
crowd was at best 60-40 Ohio State in favor, maybe 70-30. So the idea that they were so loud that we had to go on touch on that. And every time we did that, we never varied the count. We never went to a long count. Um, and to me, that's just malpractice. That just puts the offensive line in the worst. Can you imagine doing that in the NFL where you never went to a hard count? You just let those guys tee off every time?
Oh heck no, not
And
with
then
monsters like Miles Garrett and other.
you'd be screaming at the offensive line, going, "Our
Yeah,
offensive line sucks. They can't block anybody." And it's like, well, hey B, how about if we vary the snap count and not let Miles Garrett like tee off every single stinking time?
right.
Oh, okay, maybe that'll make a difference. So I'm telling you, having Arthur Smith is going to make the offensive line and Tyler Bowen. It's going to save his job and his reputation with the faithful. You remember how much Justin Fry used to get beat up by
Yes.
the Ohio State fans, and
Yep.
now they're looking back on those days. Oh, I wish we had Justin Fry back. Can we get Justin Fry back? No, it's scheme. Can we get Chip Kelly back? Can we get an adult back there calling the offense, not like a Brian Hartline type who's learning on the job? That will make all the difference. I'm telling you right now.
Yep. And not only calling it, but seeing it. Arthur Smith, he's a guy who is he's a CEO. He was a head coach, offensive coordinator. He'll be able to go in and see those things, those details that can make the difference. He'll see that. He'll be able to get with Ryan Day and say, yo, like, and Arthur Smith, he's already watched film. He's already been on Ohio State film. He was probably watching Ohio State film before he interviewed. I'm sure he was, because that's a part of the interview. Point is, all these little things will be cleaned up, with the combination of Ryan Day in his mind, with everything he's got going on. But to be able to balance that out with Arthur Smith, oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is going to be like, and I'm getting more and more excited about Arthur Smith, Nevada, as the days go on, and whatnot. But also, real quick, to answer somebody's question in the chat, on the Google machine, it doesn't say what high school in Springfield. It just says Springfield High School. And so I thought there were two high schools in Springfield. For those who don't know, Springfield is like, what would I compare it to? It's not as big as Dayton. It's a little smaller than Dayton, right? So I think they got two big high schools, but that's it. That's it, to answer your question. It's not that far from Columbus. But also, Nevada, we got another kid, and I'm going to pull him up too. Well, I'm sorry. I'm getting out in front of myself, but it's going to happen. This kid from Ohio, Bishop Watterson, his name is David Seaman. He's from Bishop Watterson is a powerhouse school here in Columbus. And he has been, crystal balled and like all that. So this is a 3-star kid, offensive tackle, who I think is another good Ohio kid, 6'4", 274, class of 2027. Give me some tough Ohio, especially Columbus area kids. And I will pull him up right now. Nevada, did you hear about Davis Seaman?
Yeah, now he's a guy that he got kind of the kiss of death. I think he got the Fong bomb to Ohio State. So not that do I think that Fong has any information? No, I think Fong's just looking at a Ohio kid, a guy that grew up as an Ohio State fan, obviously with an Ohio State offer.
Right.
That seems like a logical
Exactly.
logical kid to commit to Ohio State. But no, yeah, I've been singing the praises of the Ohio offensive lineman for 2 decades now. So I'm definitely on team Ohio offensive lineman. I just think they build them different. I think it's for a position that's potentially a development spot. You've got to guys they're apt to hang out more often, not get homesick and leave because they're from Ohio and they want to play here. And we raise them big and tough and play a good brand of football for offensive linemen. So yeah, I'm super excited about him. I think a commitment's probably imminent for him, and that'd be a nice add for the 2027 class.
All right. So let me ask you, as we continue to check out his film, I want to ask you about Tyler Bowen, because we've been talking about the O-line and complaining, and Justin Fry, how he got railroad, like just, he's terrible. and he ended up being pretty good when it was all said and done. What is your thoughts and your evaluation on Tyler Bowen's first year? And let me kind of layer this question, because to me, I feel like it's, if you judge Tyler Bowen, you have to also judge him with what he has to work with, play calling, just everything that goes along with what his O linemen have to, be involved with. So I guess what I'm saying is, do you think Tyler Bowen has been good, okay, not good? And regardless, do you think Arthur, excuse me, Arthur Smith coming in here and Bowen having a second offseason will make him even better than he was this past year?
Well, yeah, look, I think Tyler Bowen is unfairly getting the brunt of the criticism because of a 2 game skid at the end of the year, and I think it's not coincidental. You have to remember, before that thing, the offensive line was one of the best in the country in terms of protecting the quarterback. We were one of the
Yeah.
you given up some of the fewest sacks. We went up to Michigan, which is traditionally a very difficult place to play, and we absolutely dominated those guys on their home field. A big part of it being, remember the famous 12-minute drive or whatever it was,
Yep.
when we just took it from them and just drove it down, 20 straight runs or whatever it was, and won the game convincingly. And then what happened? Our offensive coordinator took the South Florida job, and then everything on the offense kind of went to heck in a handbasket. And
Yeah.
the 13 and 14 personnel stuff, kind of reared its ugly head in the Big Ten championship game. We looked out of sorts. Julian Sain was going through a tremendous personal crisis at the time, and then all of a sudden now everybody's on Tyler Bowen. So look, I think Tyler Bowen's a terrific coach. I think he's a great, energetic recruiter. I think he's done a great job of identifying and stocking guys in the room. And I think he'll be another one, much like Stud, much like Justin Fry, that will not be fully appreciated until he's gone. I always believe it's scheme, scheme, scheme when it comes to evaluating offensive line. I think that's why teams like Navy and Army can lead the country in rushing every year. It's not because they have big monsters on the offensive line. It's because their scheme is better than other teams. And I think it's the same thing with Ohio State. When our scheme is good, when our scheme is unpredictable, when our scheme keeps, shows constraint to the other teams and keeps them guessing, we can run the ball effectively and we can protect the quarterback. And when we don't do that, we don't. And that's just my personal opinion. I respect that maybe somebody has other views on it, but I actually like our linemen. I like our staff on the offensive line side, and I think those guys do a really good job. And I know that's not a popular position to take right now, but I really sincerely believe that.
No, I hear you. And thank you, Chris Risner. Is it Risner or Reisner? Jonah Jackson. That's who I was thinking. I said Josh. Jonah Jackson, Josh. Yes, Jonah Jackson from Rutgers. That was the kid I was referring to that we got from the portal. But yes, in addition to that, Nevada, I want to ask everyone, it's the off season now. Like, I don't know. I'll ask y'all in the chat. You can tell me, are y'all like me in the off season? You go back and watch. I go back and watch games during the freaking season because I want to know what the heck is going on. And watching real time in your emotions, usually you can't see everything. So I'm asking because I would suggest, no, y'all not going to do it. They're not going to do it. I was going to say go back and watch the Miami and Indiana games and even the Scum game. But fans don't like to go watch losses. But I'm telling you, go back and watch the games. If you want to have a better perspective of what you're getting into next season, it helps. I went back and watched the Miami game, and it's when you go back and rewatch games, it's typically never as great as you thought it was and never as bad as you thought it was. There may be an exception, one or two exceptions in your lifetime, but typically it's not. And so go back and watch the Miami game, and especially like the second half, how we came out. The O-line, we made some adjustments schematically. Like I said, I told y'all before, we went from zone, outside zone, inside zone, stretch type stuff, to more gap scheme, pulling guards, pulling tackles. We had some injuries. Sarah Velt was out. Van Sickle was struggling. So we had Ian Moore, left tackle, Josh Padilla at right guard, and they were doing really well. They were pulling, they were physical, they looked light on their feet. We had gaping holes, opening up gaping holes, and they did give Sam some time, even though there was pressure because them boys from Miami, Bain is legit. So is Messador, and they have a good defense. But the point is, if you go back and watch these games, I think Nevada, some people have, you know how you have like the best of plays in your mind, you have the worst of plays in your mind. I think they have the worst of the O-line in their mind and didn't get to really fill in the blanks. And now their expectations of the O-line is warped. Now it's just like our O-line sucks. Not really. Miami and Indiana are really two really good. They're the top 2 sack teams in the country. Top 2. Miami had 50 sacks. Indiana had 46. So you're going up against the top 2 defensive lines. And then we were still able to do some good things and only lost by 3 points in both games. I don't count that last touchdown. We gave it up on purpose. I'm just trying to give some perspective to y'all because Nevada, I feel like a therapist sometimes because fans really do be miserable and sometimes it's because they have a warped perspective of what they think they saw, or they don't have the full picture to really kind of balance things out. And so anyway, it's just my suggestion. If you're bored one day in the offseason, to go check it out because you're going to see some good things on film from the line in both games, in stretches, especially Miami in the second half, Nevada.
Well, yeah, in the Indiana game when we made the switch to Gabe Van Sickle, drove it back down in consecutive plays. I don't think we
Yep.
punted. We drove it right down there. Had the terrible luck of Julian slipped on the quarterback sneak, and we got stopped short on the
Yep.
quarterback sneak on the 8-yard line going in for a score, and then we missed a 28-yard field goal the next time. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like. I just look, I can harken back to so many games when we played at Ohio State where we've just been dominated by the defense. I think about the Clemson game when we were in the playoff the one year and we got beat so badly in sound. I don't remember even what the score was, but that was bad. Now that was,
30-0.
yeah, that was terrible. That's one where you
Yeah.
look at it and kind of go, man, okay, our offense had no chance in that game. We were outclassed on both sides of the ball. Um, you know, that's when you have cause for concern. But I didn't feel that way in these games. I felt like we moved the ball, we had our opportunities, we just didn't cash them in. There was that Indiana game. That was one of the biggest games in Indiana history, a road game essentially for the Big Ten championship at Indianapolis. And we were right there. Should have won the game. Well, you'll never convince me we shouldn't have won that game. And just came up a bit short. So, I mean, it happens. It's unfortunate. I think sometimes the ball bounces your way, and sometimes it doesn't. That's why when you win the national championships, it's so exciting because you realize how lucky you have to get there. It's really really hard, to navigate and dodge all those bullets to get to a national title. And I think for Ohio State, look, we're loaded for a repeat of 2024 in 2026. We've got a challenging schedule. We've got a loaded squad, and I think it's going to depend on how good some of these transfer portal kids turn out to be, because you never really know until they get on campus, and some of
Yeah.
them are going to be better than we think, and some are going to be worse, and we'll never really know which ones are until they get here and start playing. But we brought a lot of them in. We're bringing in a lot of reinforcements. We're a much more veteran team, a much more experienced team than we were when we left the field in Dallas after the Cotton Bowl. So we're experienced. We're veteran at key spots, at important spots, and I'm excited about the 2026 season. And Ohio State just keeps reloading to add more bodies, and that makes me even more optimistic about the season for sure.
I agree. And listen, I'm looking at the screen now because we brought this up the other day, but I wanted to circle back, Nevada, because I'm trying to add perspective. So I'm looking at the Indiana Ohio State box score. Total yards, Indiana 340, Ohio State 322. Passing yards, Indiana 222, Ohio State 264. Rushing yards, 118 for Indiana, 58 for Ohio State. Now, Ohio State was sacked 5 times. So that contributed towards some of that negative rushing yards, but still something. 6 yards per play for Indiana, 5.8 for Ohio State. tied at 17 for first downs, both teams. Third down conversion, Indiana converted 2 more than we did. 6 for 13, we were 4 for 12. I'm reading these for a reason. Just trust me, guys. Total plays 57, Indiana, 56, Ohio State. Now we sacked them 3 times, but they sacked us 5 times. And we both threw a pick. Time of possession was almost dead even. So this game was literally like mirror. I mean, there's a few things that stick out. Obviously, the rushing game. And again, this is what we've been saying about Arthur Smith. I think Nevada, it's silly when I hear fans, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, say, oh, he's going to come in here and it's going to be great for Bo Jackson, but the receivers are going to suffer. Listen, Ryan Day, we know how to throw the ball. We're bringing him in here for several reasons. I mean, there's a checklist of different things that we can, but one of the reasons is this guy knows how to run the ball. We want balance. Listen to Ryan Day his entire career. He wants balance run and balance pass. If you can run the ball successfully, you can control the game, obviously. I'm not saying we're going to be playing slow pace and trestle ball, but you have the advantage to at least have the ability to control the game. But not only that, with the sets that we want to run, whether it be 12 personnel sometimes, play action will be abundant with our receivers if we can run the ball effectively. And so Arthur Smith is coming here to balance out what we can already do well. We can throw the ball extremely well. Running the ball a little better in this game, maybe could have got us over the hump, but also he's tough with the offensive line as well. He played O-line. I think he'll come in and help just make him more physical, just shore it up. He's just another great brain trust to come in and shore up that line in this running game. So this game, I still look at this game and get sad because it's absolutely a game we should have won. We were up 10-0 on them. We were up 10-0. We were just a few plays away from really kind of controlling it. Even in the end, a couple of plays, a couple of throws and missed opportunities from beating these dudes. And they've been putting it on almost everybody, Nevada. And listen, for you, Nevada, I'm about to say Nevada fans. I'm a Nevada fan, but no, for Indiana fans, congratulations. You won the national championship. Okay. You're a really good team. So we're not taking nothing away from you. We're simply saying we all watched the game. We really shot ourselves in the foot and Indiana just took advantage of it, period. But anyway, I'm rambling, but I'm just saying, man.
But I want to talk about that game just for one more second.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Because I think something's kind of gotten lost in the translation over the time. Isn't it kind of funny? Like, so the game finishes, we lose 13-10. Hard to get much closer than that. And it's just settled science that Mendoza's the Heisman winner, right? Like, Mendoza is the Heisman winner. Not even a discussion. Of course, Mendoza's going to win the Heisman. Well, Mendoza in the game, okay, he was 15 for 23 for 222 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So 65%. 222 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Julian Sain, who everybody's like, oh, didn't play well, but he was 73%, 21 of 29, 258 yards, more yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But it's so funny how, like, but because they won a game 13-10, because our field goal kicker missed a 28-yard field goal, something he should convert 98% of the time. Oh, of course Mendoza is going to win the Heisman. Like, that's not even a question. Like, does anybody look at that and just the absurdity of the whole thing? It's kind of like, what in the world are we talking about here? Like, the idea that Fernando Mendoza is like him and Julian Sain's trash. Man, Sain played better than Mendoza did. I mean, he outperformed him statistically from yards per attempt, from completions, from completion percentage. I mean, but no, because they won the game. That's the thing. And it's just, I just find it kind of funny how they're ready to put up a statue of Mendoza, and he won the Heisman, and he's the greatest quarterback. He's going to be the first pick in the draft. And people are questioning whether Julian Sain can play, whether he should be replaced, whether he's the right guy to be the quarterback at Ohio State. dude, he played better than the Heisman guy did head to head.
See,
I mean, but I just think it's I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
I was just watching Zoolander when he said that. Yeah, Will Ferrell. It's like I'm taking crazy pills. Great quote, but no. Yes, but that's why y'all. What Nevada just says. You see the perception is because again he's absolutely correct. Well, first of all, as a side note, I think the Heisman has become something just completely just ridiculous. I mean, to me, the Heisman is just so watered down now. It just seems like just anybody can win the Heisman. That's just how I feel about it. Now, with that said, let me read you something, Nevada. This is from a fan, a Buckeye fan from my page, who said this about Julian Sand. Actually, he commented. I posted our podcast. Is Julian Sand set to have a breakout year? I posted that on my page. Right here's the comment. He says, "Not with Arthur Smith. He is likely set for major regression, especially with a tough schedule. Last year, he barely played anyone and struggled against good teams. He struggles to read defenses and can't withstand pressure. I suspect the fans will demand he gets benched pretty quickly and will be calling for Smith and Day to be fired by their bye week." Now, listen, that's a ridiculous comment, but I've seen comments that aren't far off from that, Nevada. And this is why the other day I was saying, when we did a show about saying, is that I was asking a question, do you still believe in Julian Sand? Because again, y'all know I run this page, I'm on Scoop, I'm on Twitter, I'm on IG, I'm on internet, Facebook, whatever. I see the comments. No, it's not all fans, but when it's enough, I start to take notice like, hold on now. And there's been way too much Julian saying, "Oh, what's up with Tavion St. Clair? Is he going to get a shot?" It's just amazing to me. This is why I'm saying what you said, Nevada, is so true. If you go back and look at it, he outplayed Mendoza, but all of a sudden he's trash. It's wild. But again, that's the perception when your brain only remembers certain things, and then there's certain talking heads out there with narratives that just take it even deeper. That's why I would say go back and watch the games. If you really want to be a student of the game, at least to at least another level than most people, just go back and watch the games and take notes, or just say, okay, let's see. And I think that will really help your perspective going forward, Nevada. I just don't think most fans go back and watch games and do that. And so, am I tripping for that? Do you think I'm exaggerating by saying a lot of fans have a warped perception of the team with their last impression because they only saw the game one time and they've been pounded over the head with narratives? Do you think that's fair, or am I tripping?
No, I think that's. I mean, look, I find myself, I think it all depends on your perspective. Like, were you at the game? Were you watching the game? Were you
Yeah.
watching the game in a bar? Were you watching the game at home? Were you listening to the game on the radio? It all just depends because, like, I've had it myself. The when we won the national championship and beat Oregon. I was there. I was in Jerry World, watching the game when that happened. But when I've watched the game on the replay, I forgot a lot.
Yeah.
I forgot a lot of sequences. I forgot a lot
Yep.
of plays, and and that's a game that I had like the most positive possible attribution for, and I was paying attention. I had great seats and what, but like I didn't remember a lot of it, and so I just think that it's not a criticism. It's just a general observation about life. There's no way you can possibly have an accurate recollection of what happened in the game unless you go back and watch it over again, sober and quiet. And sometimes it's hard, especially in games when you lose, man. It's hard to
Mhm.
watch those games because I don't like to generally like to watch it. I've never watched the Michigan Ohio State game from 2 years ago when we lost. So I will never watch that game again. But you know, that's the only way you're ever going to get a real accurate idea of what happened. It's
Yeah.
just impossible to have watched it first in real time and really remember accurately what transpired on the field.
That's so true. It's true, y'all. And listen, it's funny. I know that what year was it? The 2024 Michigan game like the back of my hand. I know that game well. I was there. I was in the stadium, and I went home and watched it obviously several times. So I saw it from the stadium, and I went back and rewatched it. And that's why I have some of the strong opinions I have about that game, because I dove deep into it and like literally dissected that game. And so anyway, I'm saying for those, because this is the reason why I'm saying, and I'll move on, because I see a lot of people online who have strong opinions, and it's just like, if you really want to be informed, do yourself a favor and go rewatch these games. If you love football, like, just go back and rewatch it. And I think you'll be like, oh, like Nevada said, it's hard. Whether it be good or bad, Nevada, it don't matter. Sometimes it's like, it's in your emotion. That Texas game, if I wouldn't have went back and rewatched, bro, between all the high fives and we can't see the replay and hold on, was that a first down? I wouldn't remember most of that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, not to belabor the point, but that's just an encouragement for y'all, especially with this long off season. If you really want to be informed and have a good perspective of what we may be getting, even specifically with this O-line, and even Julian Saying and Bo Jackson or whoever, I would recommend go back and rewatch the games. So there's that. But anything else on that before we move on to these super chats, Nevada?
Yeah, B-Bones is what you should do. Is you should go back and watch the Michigan game for 2024 and give her like a breakdown, your play-by-play on that. We're going to punish you by making you go back and watch all the losses from Ohio State over the year, like the 1998 Michigan State game or
Oh,
2015,
no.
2015 Michigan State, and have
Oh,
you sit
man.
down there and watch it, man. Like, I think I'd cry. I seriously, if I had to watch that 1998 Michigan State game, seriously, I
That was
I,
brutal.
I that was brutal. It's
You,
amazing that a football game can affect you so profoundly, but that one shook me to the core, man.
I tell you what, listen, I know I'm Mr. Brave Soul, watch the games, watch the losses guy, but I tell you what, that 98 Michigan State game, the three games that come to my mind that would be the most brutal to watch. Let me think. Am I missing anything? I'll just name these. The 1998 Michigan State game, where Plaxico Burress was killing us, and they had Nick Saban, and we were at home, and our squad was NFL-esque, and we got beat. That was terrible. 2015 Michigan State, backup quarterback. We did not run Zeke. That roster was amazing. We blew it. That was tough. But I tell you what, you know what game I have? Well, no, I did rewatch. Did I rewatch this game? No. This is one game I did not rewatch. 2006 against Florida. That,
Yeah,
Nevada, I'll tell y'all what. Usually, you know how you kind of try to mentally prepare yourself for a win or a loss, or you kind of brace yourself. I was not ready, Nevada. That 2006 season, I was riding so high after that 1-2. This is before the SEC became, how can I put it, the darling, and all the SEC is the best conference. They were, remember, Nevada, they were talking about, is it going to be a rematch in the national title between Michigan and Ohio State? I mean, it was all about Michigan and Ohio State. And then Ohio State, of course. And I was not prepared for that loss, Nevada. That Florida loss hit me like a buzzsaw. I was shocked at the loss, starting with Ted Ginn going down in the beginning of that game. But then from there, I was like watching a horror film I was not prepared for, Nevada. That was bad, bro. Sorry.
yeah. I was there and
Whew.
have not watched the game since. Don't have any desire to watch the game since, and yeah, that's one of the big profound disappointments. Like I said, football gives you the height of heights, and then it can bring you the low of lows. And unfortunately, yeah, you just hit three of the lowest moments for me as a fan, for sure.
Yeah, and I tell you what, that game, on the flip side, really, uh, how can I put it? The excitement that I had to get Urban Meyer, knowing when we found out we were getting him, and I'm pretty sure you broke that before anybody, from what I remember. That made me even more excited. Like, oh, we're getting that, and we got that. And so, but anyway, but yeah, boy, some tough losses, but we got way more great wins than tough losses. So that's the perks of being a Buckeye fan, for sure. Stilly Mats, thanks for the 199. Hope everyone is staying warm and safe. Yep. So school canceled again. I'm not going to whine about it. It's funny. My wife and kids were laughing at me earlier because they asked me if I was jealous, and yes, I am jealous because again, I know I'm the old man on the porch in the rocking chair, talking about back in my day. But back in my day, when we got hit with snowstorms like this, we were not out for the whole week, and so Nevada, I'm just like, man, whatever.
Yeah. It is funny how your perspective changes, but hey, they're happy now. So your wife is off too. So it's not only so your wife's home and the kids are home, and it's been 4 days now,
Yep,
or
4 days.
3 days, 4 days. Wow.
Well, I'm sorry. It's been 3 days plus they
But
already
tomorrow plus
notified that tomorrow. Yep,
tomorrow, yeah. Wow,
yep,
that is great. And so
exactly.
Friday's a what? There's no way they're going on Friday. You know that. I just
That's what
want
we're
you to.
wondering.
You got to prepare yourself right now. They are not going on Friday. I'm just telling you.
We should do a little wager to see what
Yeah, I'm
happens. Like, I
telling
think
you, 0% chance.
0% chance they go. Okay, that would suck. It's like, man, we got to come in here on a Friday after all this week being off. Like, come on. Nah, I think you're right. I think they're going to go ahead and say screw it, and just stay home, kids. All right, so be it. Geo did. Thanks for the 5. If you think about it, our offensive line may have over 5,000 snaps as a collective over their time at Ohio State going into next season. That's huge. Yeah, it is. And again, we've seen, this is what I want to just get people to step back and see. Just think about all of the college football that you've watched. Have you not ever seen an O-line get better from year to year, especially going into a year where they have all this veteran experience? Listen, just don't wring your hands about the offensive line. I think we're going to be really good next year. We got some guys on there, and I think adding Arthur Smith, Tyler Bowen having another year, evaluating everything that happened, and self-scouting and cleaning some things up, I think this O-line can be really, really good. And they were really, really good most of the season, and they just those last 2 games against those top 2 defensive lines, it just didn't work out. And like you said, Nevada, a lot of other little things. The Brian Hart, it's just like everything, all that stuff matters, man. It just adds to the pot. Just like it matters in the reverse for positive things happening, it can matter in the reverse for negative. And we still just came up short. And so, word of encouragement, Nevada.
Well, yeah. Look, I can remember years where we returned, single digits on terms of starts on the offensive line, and I'll bet you. I mean, I'll go through it, but it's well over 100 starts that we have returning on the offensive line. I've been probably closer to 150. So I mean, it's an extremely veteran, probably one of the most veteran lines we've ever had at Ohio State, and it's not like these have been lean years at Ohio State in the recent past. It's not like we didn't we're number one most of the year in 2025, won the national championship in 2024. So it's not like these have been bad times, and these have been the guys that have been up front. So no, I'm excited about what they can do, and I'm certainly excited about Arthur Smith leading them for sure.
Yeah, I am too, man. And I forget, I think it was When Stars Align. What up was When Stars Align? Do I need to come see you and get my cheesecake this weekend? I've been cooped up in this house. I might have to venture out and get me some cheesecake. But you mentioned in the chat earlier, what did you say? Good Lord, I forgot what you said. I'm gonna have to find your comment, but it was about the O-line. It was about that's what it was. Arthur Smith. You were asking about the press conference. That's what I'm waiting on too, Nevada. I want to see. Well, first of all, I'm a press conference boy. I like watching the press conferences, but I want him to be I want him to go in front of the media and talk and engage and introduce himself and all that other stuff. I know you're not a big interview guy, Nevada, but are you anticipating that? I mean, at least are you curious to see, how that is or no? Trying to find that mute button. Unmute. Oh, I think I lost him. He'll come back. But anyway, When Stars Align, I am looking forward to that. Me and Dev, we are press conference boys. I want to see Arthur Smith. Did you hear my question,
I
Nevada, for
heard
you?
I heard your question. This darn StreamYard, sometimes like it will not like I click on it, it will not let me click on the thing. And I'm there clicking away. I'm just like slamming thing and everything. Like I hear you insulting me on the air, and I'm like, I can't even respond right now.
Let me put on my readers and see.
No, I can see it. I can see it. Don't push it, man. It's all going. Yeah, no, I'm excited, but I just remember when the beat was so just universally negative about Patricia, and now they're just like suckling at the teat of Patricia, and it's like, oh,
Right.
you're the greatest, you're the best. So I just, how have they been in general? Would you say about the Arthur Smith? Have they taken a position on the Arthur? Because I haven't really followed, and you'd think they'd learned their lesson after that, but have they
Yes.
gotten better?
Yes, I think they have learned their lesson, Nevada. I'm so glad you asked me that because again, I'm here in Columbus. I hear the beat guys. They're the beat guys aren't just doing podcasts. They're on our local channel 10, channel 6, channel 4, like Buckeye Blitz. Like they're on the news and stuff like that. 97.1 the fan. 97.1 the fan, in my opinion, they tend to lean negative for stuff. They just always have. I've listened to them for years, but I was surprised, Nevada. They're actually, collectively saying this is a good hire. I was shocked. And so I was thinking about that because they actually some of them brought up Matt Patricia. And I do think they learned their lesson from that to say, you know what? Maybe I should think this one through this time instead of knee jerking like some common fan who just, doesn't want to use their noodle. Let me think this through. And so it's been positive, Nevada, the Arthur Smith hire, unlike the Matt Patricia hire. So I think they did learn their lesson.
Well, that's good. I mean, I'm glad. I would think that they would be, positive. I mean, look, we're getting an ex NFL head coach, and not an ex NFL head coach from 25 years ago. We're talking about like 3 years ago. He was the
Right.
head of the Atlanta I mean, that's who you're getting to run your offense. I think it's nothing short of incredible that we have two ex NFL head coaches as our two coordinators, and I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah. And one last thing before we get to the last super chat, Nevada. One thing I did not mention, I don't think either one of us mentioned it when it comes to some of the fan reactions, whether it be Steelers fans or just fans in general about Arthur Smith. I heard somebody say, don't forget that fans, because listen, fans of NFL teams, they have their narratives, they have their little, we hate this guy, we love this guy, we hate this guy, or whatever. Then you got fantasy football, right? So I think honestly, a lot of these bad takes and short-sighted, myopic takes are just, like I said, mostly Steelers fans who are projecting what happened with the Steelers and their personnel and what they had and just basically superimposing it onto Ohio State, but also with their offense not being super explosive, and fantasy and stuff like that. I thought that was a fair point as far as people being disgruntled. But I'm telling you, those who came in out the gate hating this hire, you need to get off of that. It's not going to be what you think it is. And honestly, Nevada, I think sometimes when fans take positions, they almost kind of in a hidden way hope that it doesn't go well so they can say, I told you so. I know for a fact with the Matt Patricia stuff, there were fans who were like, you wait and see. You wait and see. We got to play Texas and we got to play all these teams. Like, bro, it was crazy with the Matt Patricia stuff. So interesting to see how it works out this time. But anyway, all right, we got Stilly Matt. Thanks for the 199. I walked to school uphill both ways in 2 feet of snow. I think we all got some old head stories of storms and like famous the blizzard of 78, and we had a big ice storm in like early 2000s in Columbus. I mean, we've had some we've been hit hard, and times are changing. It's cool, and enjoy your days off, wife and kids, while I have to still do stuff. But nah, it's all good, man. Nevada.
Yeah, look, I mean, and this is not urban legend, but and I don't know about your background on it, but like when I went to school, I went to parochial schools because we were overseas a lot, with the nuns. and they could hit you back then. That was the days when they could hit you. Like if you didn't do your homework, you stood up in front of the class and had your hands out, and they took the ruler and just smacked the hands out of your hands with the ruler. And I'm thinking about like that now. I'm like, those sound like crazy stories to kids. Like they can't hit you, and it's like,
Right.
no, 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 they could, man, they could, and they did.
That's crazy. Now, listen, I've only heard of stories like that. I've never experienced it. So,
Yeah, yeah.
really quickly, let me ask you: have you seen the Sister Act movies?
I have seen the Sister Act movies. Yes, I have.
Okay, okay, good. So, did that kind of bring you to a place of familiarity, like, or anything?
Well, look, and we were the nuns we had with these were the Dominican nuns that were over there,
Oh,
and they were hardcore. Like if you went to like the Mother Superior, like that's the principal, like she'd have the strap and she'd pull out the strap and I never got the strap, but I had friends that got the strap. But I mean, like that happened. I mean, that stuff happened. So
he said
I
that
mean,
happened.
it's not like I'm not like telling some story from like 100 years ago. Like that happened when I was growing up, and I just think, wow, man, kids just get a different. They get a different existence now, man. And
Yeah.
look at their video. If you take their phone away, they feel like it's like some sort of a water torture or something like that. Man, they don't remember Sister Lucia and the strap because she when she brought it out, man, it was serious business.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. It's yeah, you're right. It's not just weather situations, it's just changed in general. Like, so it's crazy. But no, I did not know you were chilling with the nuns. I've only heard stories and seen stuff on TV. I've
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
about it, but I couldn't even imagine that whole environment. But that's crazy. Now you're gonna make me go watch Sister Act. I love the Sister Act movies, especially Sister Act 2 with Lauryn Hill and the choir and the competition. Those are like childhood movies of mine. So that's good stuff. All right, everyone. It looks like we are going to wrap it up. Another fun show, another great show. Always enjoy this. Appreciate the chat. I'll be trying to keep up with the chat because y'all go hard. Y'all here talking about blizzards now. Blizzards and you know, Mendoza was obviously the right choice for the Heisman Trophy. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm not to start the show again, but we might have to do another show about where's the Heisman at now, Nevada, because your points that you made about that really got me going in that direction. I don't know if you want to say anything about that real quick, but I think the
Now,
Heisman is just completely something else now.
no, but I do want to say that we've got Devin coming up with what Devin Sanchez coming up here at 8:10. So like
Okay.
if when you're done with our show, make sure you run over to Buckeye Boys, watch Devin and Devin Sanchez because he's got a big show coming up starting right now, I think.
Okay. Are you going on both? Is he going on both channels, Devin? Either
I
way.
that I don't know. I don't know where he is. Devin is kind of like a mysterious little soul, but I don't know where he's at.
All right. Well, just keep your eyes peeled. If it's not on Scoop, go to Buckeye Boys. Whatever, just go to both. Find him. We're gonna hop off now. Love y'all, Buckeye Scoop family. We'll talk to y'all next time. Go Bucks and peace.